Folks, it is official. Time is running out, and Americans have just a few more weeks to claim billions of dollars in bonus refund checks. The government is urging Americans, especially senior citizens, to take action and receive this aid. This extra money can help many people, especially as inflation rises. But the possibility of a U.S. debt default has been making lines in recent news, and for a good reason. The aftermath of a default could have far-reaching effects on every aspect of the economy, including mortgage payments. The first debt limit was set by Congress in 1917, similar in function to a credit limit for a credit card. The debt limit ensures that the federal government operates within its means and does not spend beyond its allocated resources. The government has hit the debt ceiling, and if Congress doesn't raise it soon, the U.S. will not be able to borrow money and will default on all of its obligations. If this happens, the country's economic stability will be put at risk, folks, and that puts our country in a bad situation. This could cause many difficulties in sending out the forged stimulus payments. It can actually cause so many problems to the American people. But first of all, should the U.S. default, everybody, it will be unable to pay its creditors, and when investors lose confidence in the U.S. government to repay their debts, well, they demand higher yields to compensate for the risk. This in turn will result in a chain reaction of higher interest rates across the board, including on mortgages, credit cards, and car loans. The ultimate result is that these financial products would all become more expensive for everyone. For dealers in the housing market, it can mean a sharp increase in borrowing costs and a decrease in sales activity. Because according to a recent Zillow report, mortgage rates could increase significantly, possibly up to 8.5%, such as a rise in interest rates that would monthly payments on a typical $500,000 home would increase by 22%, up to $3,800. And would be increasing by that much, and it would hurt so many people. But a default, everybody, could lead to a higher mortgage rate, and increase in that this would see homeowners buy under considerable financial stress, and some might not even be able to pay their mortgages and be forced to foreclose on their homes. Higher mortgage rates will lead to a drop-off in the overall demand for homes, and higher mortgage rates will also reduce home appreciation values. However, the impact on home values is expected to be modest. Home values dipped by 1% from current levels up until February 2024, but they are expected to end up 1% higher by the end of 2024 compared to the current value. Nobody wants the U.S. default to happen, as the ripple effects can damage the economy, the housing market, and affect millions of people. In 2020, the nation was upended due to the crisis, and the IRS itself made the decision to close its offices due to health-related concerns. Because so many people were dealing with so many things at a time, the IRS moved its normal mid-April tax filing season to mid-July 2020. Giving filers 3 extra months to submit their 2019 tax returns. But since it was such a chaotic time, many 2019 tax returns inevitably fell by the wayside. At this point, the IRS estimates that nearly 1.5 million people have failed to submit a tax return and are all missing refund dollars because of that. All told, the agency thinks that taxpayers owed $1.5 billion from 2019, but the clock is ticking down to get that money. If you never filed a 2019 tax return, it pays to get moving quickly. The IRS gives filers 3 years beyond what a given tax return is due to submit their return and request an unassociated return. And since the tax deadline for those in 2019 was pushed to July, those looking to file a return for that year can do so until July 17, 2023. But if you don't submit your 2019 taxes by then, you'll forfeit any refund you would have gotten. Meanwhile, the IRS estimates the median unclaimed refund for 2019 at $893, so the refund may be more or less. But the reality is that no matter what refund you're due, you should make a point to arrange the cash that you have gotten in your bank, because stimulus checks are taking a while to be sent out. Folks, the Social Security Administration is at risk of defaulting, and when that happens, that means no Social Security benefits anymore. New payments will be going out to eligible seniors in just a couple of days, so get your stimulus ready. You can be getting it actually sooner than we all expected. That's because of what this President Biden just did for the fourth stimulus check. Watch this, folks. You don't want to miss out on the important news. Nearly all American workers are eligible for Social Security. People can choose to start receiving them pretty much at the age of 62. Full retirement age is currently set at 67, and that's even for people who were born in the 60s. But nearly 90% of eligible Americans claim Social Security at or before the full retirement age, with about a third of beneficiaries claiming the age 62 as their earliest time possible. But if you are one of the few who can hold out and start claiming later, well, it's going to have significant impacts on your financial life. According to economists, lawmakers, things like this, Social Security is just careening towards insolvency. The only question up for debate is when it will happen. The Fed's program trustees stated that in their latest update, Social Security's trust funds will run out of money in 2035. But less than 2 months ago, the Budget Office projected Social Security would become insolvent in just 10 years. But contrary to some American fears, Social Security benefits won't be cut when the trust funds are exhausted. Payroll taxes at current levels should enable the program to continue paying around 80% of benefits. Still, those steep benefit cuts could hurt the millions of retirees. Politicians in both major political parties want to prevent this from happening. In particular, Joe Biden wants to make wages more subject to taxes. Currently, Americans pay this payroll tax only on income of up to $160,000. Under Biden's campaign plan, though, any income above $400,000 per year will be taxed. One key downside of that is that it would be enough to tax the Social Security by itself. The Urban Institute 2020 analysis of the Biden campaign plan found that increasing the payroll tax cap would only reduce Social Security's long-term deficit by 20%, and it would push back the program by only 5 years. Under the program relates to this is that the Social Security changes would make Biden pretty much not a good decision maker on this because Republican senators want to allow Congress to reauthorize Social Security instead of trying to fix it on their own.
Thank you. I haven't asked my question yet. I'm going to ask mine, then I'll go right to Senator Hickenlooper. My question is going to be to all of you very, very quickly, if you can give us answers. Inflation. What's inflation in your territories? What is the inflation? What is the most contributing factor to inflation? What are you fighting the most right now? Is it food? Is it energy prices? What is it? But where's your inflation rate? What's your greatest?
The long answer is the Social Security Act doesn't allow the agency to use money for administrative work not connected to its main mission. So they couldn't get the IRS the information it needed to send out checks. But thanks to some legal wrangling, that's been worked out. One group left out of this good news, VA beneficiaries. The IRS says it's continuing to review data it has on people who get veterans benefits but don't file a tax return. The IRS does...
Folks, there is an updated list of states that are about to send out a fourth check this month, and the lawmakers in many places like Illinois, Pennsylvania, and even New Jersey have released programs that are providing millions of dollars to thousands of low-income residents. So the several arrival dates for these payments have been confirmed and just announced. I'll be revealing these details in this video. Stimulus payments are back. Although the crisis has become more bearable, Americans are still dealing with a tough financial crisis to deal with. CNBC reports about 63% of workers across the country live paycheck to paycheck. It has led to many state governors to agree to send out bonus checks to the residents. It includes people in places like New Jersey and